I'm Jocelyn Aspa with the Investing News Network. I'm here at day 2 of the Burton Healthcare Investor Conference with Ed Gudaitis, CEO of Acerus Pharmaceuticals. Ed, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Pleasure to be here.
So how has the conference been treating you so far? It's day 2, it's the last day. What is your overall impression of this year's conference?
As last year, this is a very good conference. We thank Burton for the invitation to come and speak at the conference. We've had a bunch of good meetings, met with some potential investors, some business development meetings, and as always, this is Canada's premier healthcare conference. Great to be here.
Yeah, that's great. So the company uses drug delivery technologies together with applications across therapeutic areas. Can you talk about what these areas are and how that technology works?
Sure. Our core technology is a nasal gel device. We deliver it intranasally. It's a sort of a topical gel. Think about it as a topical cream that you deliver intranasally. We have a bunch of active pharmaceutical ingredients that we put into that device. Our primary product is an inhaled testosterone, nasal delivery testosterone product for men with hypogonadism. We also have a program looking at cannabinoids, and we have some other R&D programs looking at leveraging that technology as well. So it's a delivery device that is a very unique opportunity for us to deliver API in small quantities, locally, high absorption, doesn't have to go through the gut, and less side effects and more efficacy at the end of the day.
Oh, cool. Neat. So the company just announced that Paradigm Capital will act as a financial advisor to implement your nasal delivery technology in cannabinoids. What sparked this process, and why pursuing the cannabinoids now?
So our core product is a nasal testosterone. Testosterone chemically looks like cannabidiol and THC. So it's a very simple equation. If you can formulate one, could you formulate the other products that are there?
Yeah.
We currently don't intend to be a cannabis company, but we have a technology that could play in that space. And for the rest of our pharmaceutical business, it'd be great if we could monetize that and get some cash flow back to drive our core business forward. So rather than trying to do this on our own, we approached an investment bank, in this case Paradigm, to do what banks do well, which is to run a process for us, to find some partners, to bring in basically some upfronts and milestone payments and potentially a royalty that will allow us to fund our core pharmaceutical business, but to leverage the technology in another field like medicinal, not rec, but medicinal and clinical uses of cannabis.
Right, interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think that could expand into other areas as well?
We actively have a list of other APIs that we're going to look at in terms of the technology. If you think about areas that are more CNS, acute pain, acute applications, there's some ideas that we have there that eventually I think we'll probably have 1 or 2 additional development programs.
Oh, okay, cool. So last December, the company announced the phase 1 clinical trial results of the intranasal form of THC oil in healthy patients. Can you talk about these results and maybe what we can expect this year?
Yeah. So last year and we announced in December, we did a phase 1 PK study with the THC in the nasal gel technology. Very interesting results, about 2 times the bioavailability of oral cannabinoids taken as capsules, and a very long 7-hour Tmax half-life on the product. So we think we have a unique PK profile for the product. It might lend itself to areas like chronic pain and other more chronic conditions. We'll obviously have to, with a partner that we select through this process, do some clinical work to develop that, but we're excited about the results. We also have some work looking at CBD delivered in the device as well, which we'll begin to read out over the next couple of months through an academic center in Germany, and we'll see how that evolves and develops. But it's an exciting space, certainly with the legalization in Canada, development of that space. I think it is a very emerging, interesting science, but as we said, our focus is on primarily urology, andrology. This is an interesting opportunity for us to leverage the technology, get some value, and drive it into other areas of medicine and science as we go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So while the company isn't directly interested in entering the cannabis market, is it something that you might consider in the future, or you're just going to focus on what you're doing for now?
We have enough to do that we're going to focus on what we need to do now to make this a profitable business.
Yeah.
We'll retain some optionality. If there's some things we can look at that we can move into there, we certainly will. But I think there's some exciting other APIs that we can develop that will allow us to be a specialty pharmaceutical company with these additional leveraged opportunities of the technology in other spaces.
Right.
But you never say never, but we got enough to do on our core business today.
Yeah, no, it certainly sounds like it. Is there anything else investors might want to know about your company this year? Any other milestones we can watch for?
Sure. We have a couple of milestones coming up. We have a launch of Natesto in South Korea with our partner Hyundai Pharma, which should be happening within the next month or so, which will be an interesting opportunity to see how the product is moved forward in an Asian market where predominantly injected testosterone is the standard of care. We also are anticipating European approval for Natesto with our European partner Medac by the fourth quarter of this year, and then eventual country rollouts in 2020. And we should see, hopefully, that we have this partner for the cannabinoids and this THC technology licensed probably by the start of Q3. So 3 very interesting milestones. You know, we're turning the company around. It's had a 10-year history. We've got a very clear core strategy now, some clear milestones, and more interesting things to come as we get into 2020, but some very interesting things bringing the company forward this year.
Absolutely, so lots of exciting things to watch for.
Lots of exciting things to
sure.
watch for the Acerus, yes.
This is a question I've asked everybody, but I want to know what your thoughts are and maybe the differences between the healthcare system in Canada and the US, and maybe if there are any differences, any advantages, disadvantages you can think of.
2 different systems. I mean, the public model in Canada predominantly in terms of the method of payment. Obviously, in the United States, is a much more private commercial model of healthcare. I think, one can debate the merits of both systems. As a Canadian living in Canada, I do like the universality of access that we have in Canada. As a business person looking at the global business that we have with Natesto, I still need to look at sort of the opportunities that we have. And Canada's an important home market for us, but it is still a relatively small market, and our success is ultimately going to be in the United States. So commercially, North America, the US is still the leader in innovation and return for healthcare. But as a Canadian living here in Canada, I do appreciate the system that we have, and it takes care of us all, which is a great thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, thank you so much. Those are all the questions I have today.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I'm Jocelyn Aspa with the Investing News Network.